It's time for Veterans Issues, the show that brings you information about veterans, military, and their family. Now here's your host, Ken Rollins.
Welcome into Veterans Issues. Ken Rollins here. Today's show is another showcase of a spotlight on a veteran. Last week we had a World War II veteran on here. This week we got another World War II veteran on here. Got a different story. It's a history in the making. So if you folks get your pen, gonna take a break. Be right back. Welcome back to Veterans Issues. Today's guest is Hillman Prestridge. He's a World War II veteran. He was on the landing in Normandy on Utah Beach, and got a lot of interesting stories. So if you're interested in the history and for the greatest generation, I'm bringing you a fine one today. Welcome to the show, Hillman. Good to see you.
Good to be here.
Good to be seen, ain't it?
Good to be seen.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's how old are you now?
89.
89. You're just a baby.
September the 15th, I'll be 90.
Okay, that's great. Well, I appreciate you coming on doing the show today. We've been talking about it quite a while. Now, people can see on television, they see these canes sitting here, and this is I'll put it up here in front of my face because everybody likes to see it. This is your cane you've had for a long time. United States Army Amphibious Forces, June the 6th, 1944. That's a lovely cane. I'm going to hand that back to you so we can get them off of the desk up here. But this is a lot prettier. This is mine. I won't go into all of that. We on television, so don't say it ain't prettier. I've had this one for a long time. And I'll tell you at the end of the show, if I got time, how you can get you one of these for somebody you love. Or if you love yourself, you might want to get yourself one of them. So they're fine, fine deals. Now we got that out of the way. Are you from here, from the area?
Anniston. I live in Anniston, yes.
Okay, man, you lived here all your life?
No, I was born in Lineville, Alabama, Clay County.
Lord mercy, down there in Gerald Isles territory.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's, there was another fellow on here, he was from down that way. He went just about the same route as you did on your service. So you entered the United States Army at some point. Was you drafted or did you join?
I was drafted.
Okay, just got you a letter in the mail and says, Uncle Sam needs you.
We don't want to have to come after you come in.
What was you doing then when you got that message? Was you just farming or?
Well, really, I was still in school doing nothing.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you're just a young fella. Now, when you went in the service, where did you go for your training? Before you, well, I know you went overseas. We're going to talk about that. Before you did that, where'd you go for your training?
I went to Fort Bragg, North Carolina, in Field Artillery to start with, and as I was trained for the Field Artillery there. And after I got through with the training, then I went in the Amphibian Force, which is just then the Army did not have an amphibious force until then.
Well, see, I knew we had an amphibious force. I didn't know when it started, so I guess that was back in 40-something, wasn't it?
Back in 42.
Okay, so that really makes sense the way the military down. They trained you for artillery and then put you in an amphibious force.
Well, that was a way that they had of doing it.
If I remember right, most of the enemy wasn't supposed to know about our amphibious force, was they? Or kind of a secret thing?
It was a secret outfit that, well, didn't nobody know about it because we just got it started.
Kind of like the Navy SEALs program that we've had and stuff.
Right.
Wow, that's very interesting to me. And when you left Fort Bragg, you went overseas at some point there. Didn't you do training over there too, or Scotland or England or somewhere?
We trained in Maryland.
Okay.
And then when we left Maryland, we went over with Queen Elizabeth and landed at Glasgow, Scotland. So that was the build-up of making the invasion of France. So we went from Glasgow, Scotland, into Birmingham, England. And we stayed there for a while, and then we moved to a forest in England. And there's where we trained until a few days before the invasion, we went to Swansea, Wales. And there's where we jumped off at.
When you talk about the invasion, you talk about the Normandy. But backing up there, when you said Queen Elizabeth, a lot of people today might not know that was the way you was transported on the Queen Elizabeth ship.
That was the ship.
But it wasn't no fancy cruise, was it?
No. Because
nowadays you go on a Queen Elizabeth, you get all the fancy stuff.
Yeah.
It was, well, that was, so you ended up from Scotland, you went on to where?
Went from Scotland to Birmingham, England.
Yeah. But from Birmingham, I'm going to take you from there to Normandy now. Where did you, somehow you got from England to the invasion? We went to some place, I don't know where it was, but it was in a forest in England. And there we trained, and then we went from there to Swansea, Wales, which was the jumping off place for the invasion. And June the 5th, excuse me, June the 5th, we started loading up on our ships, getting ready, of which we were supposed to make the invasion June the 5th. And the weather was so bad, the ducks couldn't make it. Mm-hmm.
And so on June the 6th, we went over and I landed on Omaha Beach.
Was you in the first wave?
I was, as far as I can count, I was.
Yeah.
And that, well, the Bedford boys, I was attached to the 1st Army.
Well, that's where they were.
And that's where they were.
We're going to talk about the Bedford boys in the second part. That's going to give the people that's watching the show time to go get their computer and Google the Bedford boys so they have a little bit better idea of who we're talking about, but I'll talk a little bit about that. But so did you know a bunch of the guys on the ship with you, or did y'all just meet briefly?
I knew a bunch when we went in. I knew a bunch on the ship.
Yeah.
But after we made the invasion, we were scattered from here to yonder.
Yeah. So you don't really know how many of that bunch made it and how many didn't, because y'all went, when you landed, you just went like chicken scattering.
Right.
Yeah. That was, a lot of people tell me, that they landed with 50 and only a few of them survived. So you didn't have, because you weren't that close to that group on us, you didn't know them that well.
No.
Well, we're time to take a break. Come back. We're going to pick up and talk about the Bedford boys, because that's a story in itself. Them guys from Virginia, and basically lost the whole town, but them coming over. So we got to go to a break. Stay where you are. Get your pen. Come back. We're going to talk more with Mr. Prestridge about World War II. Welcome back to Veterans Issue. I had to grab my pen here. I can't get caught without it. We're talking with Hillman Prestridge. He's a World War II veteran, and he landed in Normandy, Utah Beach. We were talking about that as we went to the break. And we mentioned the Bedford boys. Now, the Bedford boys, I got some information on them. And just for those that are watching in, let me just tell you about the Bedford boys. Were 19 boys from Bedford, Virginia. The population of Bedford was only 3,000 in 1944. Let's see. Trying to figure out, they were part of the Company A, the 11th Regiment, 25th Division, and they were the first to hit the beaches. So that would have made you part of that first one to hit the beaches, and there was 19 of them. 19 of the 30 that went ashore were killed immediately, and then 3 more were killed right after that. So the town of Bedford, there's a book about it. They call The Bedford Boys appropriately, and it's on Amazon, and that's what I'm got my research on. But they were in a town of 3,000 to have 32 of them killed with just in minutes of each other is what it says.
Well, it was 60 of them really that made the invasion, and it was 80 of the Bedford boys that went in. They was in the National Guard, and when the war broke out, of course they went in, and 60 of them made the invasion. But well, I don't know just how many was killed immediately, but it was only 11 of them out of the 60 that got to come back.
Wow. See, this is what my information on Google was on Amazon. It was telling that 19 were killed in the first minutes of the landing, and 3 others died shortly after the landing. But that's from the book, so it's even worse what you're telling me, that 80 of them went over.
Well, Roy Stevens was a friend of mine, and his twin brother got killed the first hour. And
was he a Bedford boy?
He was a Bedford boy, and he he went up to took a bullet in his neck up at St. Lo. And
well, have you? I didn't have this down as a question, but let me ask: have you been back over there since 1944?
I have not been back, but I'm going back May the 1st.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that, but I was wondering if you had been back since then, because
I have not been back.
Yeah, I was just wondering how that would feel to go back to that place. Did you? I guess this is probably a stupid question, but I've been known to ask before. But did you see a lot of the carnage, a lot of the slaughtering when you went ashore?
Well, yes. Before we ever left the beach, why, it was plenty of it.
Yeah. Well, you know, we were talking in the green room about the knowledge that we had back then and the lack of knowledge they had. On that day of the landing, those LCNs, those ducks, or what do you want to call them, the flatboat, when the door would drop.
Higgins landing craft. It was flyboard boat.
Yeah, and the GIs would jump off with a pack on their back and their rifle, and they'd be in 12-foot waves instead of 4 foot of water. They were in big, huge waves hitting them, and it was taking a toll on them.
Well, how you gonna, with the 60-pound pack on your back, how you gonna come out of it?
And your boots full of water and your clothes wet, and yeah, I know. I don't see how they did it. It's the information I had. A lot of people were lost from drowning.
It was a lot of them, and well, your orders was to go down the ramp. That was the wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
Because the German was sitting up there with a machine gun that shot 2 bullets to ours 1. And if you started down the ramp, well, they had you.
Yeah. And I read stories where the captain of the boat that was landing it didn't want to come in too close to shore because so they stopped way out there.
Put them out too far out, and they couldn't make it.
So he could stay safe from the bullets and put I saw a lot of that. That's called war, you know.
And war is chaos.
It is. It is. Sometimes the smartest moves are not made during the war, though. So you went through that, and you went to St. Lo?
Got up to St. Lo before I was pulled out.
Okay, and then that, if I remember my notes, that was about your finish over there when you finished up in World War II, right?
Well, I was finished over there. We stood by, and we never did have to go back. The nearest we had going back was at the Bulge, and by the time we could get everything, get started up there, well, they had broke through again. Mm-hmm. And so I sat there till the war was over.
You didn't just sit there, you stayed there, called standing down. I know what you
right.
said. Yeah, we got people watching television, they said, man, he sat there all that period. No, you didn't just sit there.
No, I didn't sit there.
That was, now, at some point you were getting ready to go back with the Japanese when they attacked Japan, when we dropped a bomb on Japan.
When the war was over, well, I was put on a boat or ship, SS John B. Hood, coming home, and then on my way to make the invasion on the homeland of Japan. And we got, well, we was 3 days out when they dropped the second bomb. And after we got into Stratton Island, they had a ticker tape parade there down in New York for us. We had to walk through, and we was wanting to go home.
It made you march some more, didn't it?
It made us march some more.
But I bet you felt good with all of them. I saw those ticker tape parades, and they really was something, but it made you feel good. And
it made you feel good that they thought enough of it.
Well, we run out of time here. What did you do after you got out of the service?
I went to work at a service station because I couldn't find nothing else.
Clay County?
No, in Anniston, in 15th Street, Noble, okay. 15th and Noble. And then I wound up at the Alabama Institute for the Deaf and Blind.
Oh yeah, that's down in Talladega, yeah. I forgot about that. What'd you do down there?
I was an electrician. Okay. And so that's where I stayed till I retired.
You retired to stay. Well, I'll tell you what, we've run out of time here on the show. I wish we had another hour or so to talk about that. But let me ask you, what do you want to be remembered by? You want to be remembered a good guy, a bad guy? What would you like people to remember?
Well, I'd like to be remembered as good.
A good guy? You are a good guy, Hillman. I appreciate you coming doing the show. We've run out of time, and maybe we'll come back to talk more about it, because we got about an hour's worth of stuff to talk about. We got to go. Come back. I got news that you can use. Stay right there. Welcome back to Veterans Issue. Ken Rollins, and I appreciate Hillman Prestridge coming and doing the show today. And it's good. That's good history for us right there to see the real people that were there doing the real stuff. For this I got some information here about Duggar Mountain. Those of you that like to go out to Duggar Mountain, if we can get the control room to bring that little flyer up. The flyer is up there. It's Ponder Anew. Ponder Anew has been on this show before, and what it is through music and voice, they bring you with World War II. It's a great experience, and it's March the 29th at 5 p.m. It's free dinner. Of course, donation will be accepted, and showtime is 6 p.m. And you get to see the story of World War II on stage. That's a great thing. Take some younger generation millennials out there and let them see firsthand. It's entertaining as well as informative, so make sure you get there. And I want to thanks to everybody that purchased that law enforcement tag. I just got some information from the Revenue Department that you're doing great on that, and the Memorials Fund is going to do that. That tag is, I think we got that picture of the tag. Undoubtedly, people decide they want this tag for their car. It looks good, goes everything, red, white, and blue. It's the symbol of the law enforcement memorial, the one we're going to build in Anniston, and also the one in Washington, D.C. for fallen law enforcement. So anyone can have that tag. You don't have to be associated with law enforcement, but you can have that tag. When you go to the tag office, ask them for the law enforcement tag. We're getting revenue from it to help us build that memorial. We appreciate everybody that's that's bought one. And I want to always thank WWII TV 24 for allowing us to do veterans issues on here and also veterans moments. This is the way we inform the population of what's going on. And I had a guy wanted me, if you want to be in the Calhoun County Community Band, it's a symphonic band, give me a call. My information's on the screen. Tells you, just give me a call and I'll put you in touch with the guy that's putting that together. And as I said, if you want to see this show and somebody don't have this cable site, go to WWII TV 24 and the on demand button, and you can bring up the shows on your website, on our website. So the Humane Society, the Chehaw Regional Humane Shelter, needs some items out there for blankets, newspapers, treats for the doggies and the kitties. And I just took some stuff out there last week, and you'll feel good about it. So the phone number out there to see what they want to know is what they need is 256-241-3647. 256-241-3647. Call the shelter and see what how you can help out there. And let's see. Don't forget the veterans out there. I'm talking to you. Don't forget Oxford Tire Service when you need something on your vehicle. They're not a sponsor, so I'm not getting anything out of it, but they are good people and they do good work, and you get 10% off if you're a veteran. So go by out there, and Alan's out there. Alan Robinson's is back out there. Dale Harbin is there. Just tell them that you saw it here on TV 24, veterans issues, and but they'll give you the 10% if you tell me you're a veteran. Now, pay it forward is something I do a lot. I did it this morning. Really, something interesting happened as one of the people that works here at the station was in front of me, and I had no idea it was her. And I paid for her breakfast and did not know it. Such a joy she got out of that. Such a joy I got out of it for doing it. Great thing. I'm running out of time. I'm just going to go ahead and give you my shout outs. I can't forget my friend Betty Carr. Betty Carr is I call her the ambassador to Anniston. Betty, and that's for you. And then I got to say hey to Caitlin and Bella, my babies. And this week's salute goes out to everyone that assists veterans in any way. And we'll see you next week right here on Veterans Issues. Salute.